We're back.
Oof, that was quick.
No.
Yes, that one was
I was
quick.
not ready.
Just realized you have a PlayStation T-shirt with the OG
Yeah.
logo. I like
I feel bad.
it.
I haven't got
Oh,
Thank you.
look
Not
at
Star
our
Wars.
beautiful. Oh,
Wait, you have a
yes.
spiral hoodie though. I'm jelly.
Yes, I do. I have my
Yeah.
hoodie. I'm a maybe. Sorry, we're not there when you were all chatting.
Yeah, I'm Mama.
Hi, Nuri. How you doing?
Thank you, Journey, for letting me know that I was confused with the sound. Greatly appreciated.
I hope I didn't say anything that was.
I think you were fully French at that point.
Yeah, I was. Okay, so people that don't speak French, I was giving compliment to.
Yeah, I don't at all. I took my wife to Paris on our 30th wedding, so our 30th birthday, and she was vegetarian then, and I somehow managed to order a plate of very rare beef. So I don't know why. So that was quite.
She was really thankful for that.
No, I was like, I can do a bit of French, and I thought, no, I better stop now before.
Wow. All right. So, Maven, you were writing in French early this morning.
Yeah,
so
put
you
her
do
on the
speak French
spot.
too, right?
No. I have 3 phrases. 3 phrases. That's it.
Okay, so let's hear them.
Hi, guys.
Bonjour.
Bonjour. That
Bonjour.
works.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's what?
Merci.
Yes, that's a good. Important.
Merci
Well, I mean-
beaucoup.
Yes.
Well, that doesn't count for 3.
Hey.
That's the same one. It's the polite way of saying thank you.
No, it's thank you and
Yes, it
thanks a
is.
lot. So,
Okay, well,
Un petit.
une petite.
Un petit. There we go. So when you go into like our northern hemisphere of French-speaking French Canadian, and you get into Starbucks, because we have those too.
No?
You can
Really?
go to the counter and say bonjour, un petit café.
Cafe is coffee.
Bonjour.
Oh,
Un petit
coffee.
café.
That was great. Good job.
Yeah.
You all thought that we were interviewing people here, but we're just learning French together. That's what we're doing today.
Yeah, I've just got all the old ones going out, like je voudrais un kilo de pêche, s'il vous plaît.
Oh, it's
Oh,
a lot of speech.
Or aller le office de tourisme, s'il vous plaît.
Oh,
Which was where's
Yeah.
the tourist office? I think. Yeah.
Yeah,
I just
there you go.
remember some. I did do. Oh no, I don't. I did do French for about.
so you're gonna find your
3 years.
way and have peach. So you're gonna be
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, that's one way to go
Yeah, then there's-
about.
Tourner à droite is right, isn't it? Tourner à gauche
Yeah.
is left. Aller tout
Yeah.
droit is forwards.
Straight ahead. Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go.
Under trois
You're good.
You said Vietnamese. Yep, there we go.
Both of you in a car, you could get into.
Yeah,
a
I
Starbucks
can just
together.
about just speaking. But
You would come back with a kilo of peach, but
German's
you
my
know,
main second language. So
they're German.
yeah.
Oh, that's impressive.
Okay.
Oh, German is complicated.
So how do you
Yeah,
order a coffee in German?
Oh God. Oh no, I'm gonna go.
That's in English, Andy. You need to
It's
do it in
Brauch,
German.
I've got to get into the frame to say it. Hold on. So I've just got. Ich brauche eine Tasche Kaffee, bitte. Ich habe ein bisschen. Ja, es ist. Ja, meine Kopf ist nicht gut jetzt und ich muss.
I don't
Ich brauche
understand
mehr
anything.
Praxis in Deutsch und ich habe gewohnt in Österreich für 5 Jahren, von 1998 bis 2005.
That's how it
Und ich
sounds
spreche
when
jeden
we
Tag.
speak French.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't
I
understand.
just want a coffee, Andy.
Yeah.
I just
you
want a
so
coffee.
much, Wee.
How long? Jesus, those lines must be forever in the German.
Yeah, I've got to get.
Starbucks.
I've got to get back. I have to think it first before I can speak it. I can't. I
yeah.
can't quite switch. I could do when I was there, but now I have to start. I think it first, and then I can get into the speaking. So it takes a little
Oh,
bit just
there
to
you go.
kind of kick the English across to German. But also I get because I've lived back in England for so long now, I get the word order sometimes wrong. So I can make myself understood, but I say, because Germany's very much like, instead of like here we go, let's go and get a pizza. In Germany, it's pizza we'll go and get. So it's kind of they flip it around a bit Yoda speak. So it's difficult sometimes to remember that. But
I have a little
mention.
I have a little mention to make because Will just donated. So thank you for the donation, but also happy birthday!
Wow, no, hold on. We were supposed to sing it to him.
Oh, we can sing it in the project and the next segment and just clip it because I don't want to take too much from our little time that we have with Maven and Andy. But I wanted to say happy birthday. But we're gonna sing a little song.
I would have loved to hear Maven sing Bunfight.
I don't sing. There's a public,
they did not sign for that.
There's a public warning. I can't break it, I'm afraid.
You've been denied.
People might get damaged.
Oh. All right.
So you want no viewers. You want none. Is what you're asking.
If I sing, it's gonna happen too. So we're fine. So.
Be like Anto, break everything. All right. So this segment is well. Let's do a proper introduction for the people that don't know
our beautiful guest.
Our beautiful guest. Go ahead.
You want
Jess,
me to go ahead? Perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
So we have Maven, who is BM0R3Natural. I'm always having a hard time because of my French saying that. So we have Maven that we've met through the developer from Mooncube, and she's played Spiral on stream. And yeah.
I thought it was the other way around.
No, it was from them.
Really?
They sent me their list, and then I reached out to Maven. So we've met like that, and she was sharing during her stream about, and she's probably gonna go more into it, but she was sharing about her own experience with dementia and Alzheimer and our difficult part and the way that the game was kind of sharing a new way of looking at it. And we wanted to learn more about her vision and the way she was seeing mental health and video game going kind of together, and the kind of cathartic experience and the feeling that game could bring. So that's why we wanted to have her today. And we have Andy that we've met through Nuri, and that is always sharing his own experience with his dad suffering from Alzheimer, if I'm not getting it wrong, because I always go with dementia since it's like everyone. Yeah. And he's sharing with the Alzheimer Society from the UK, and he's shared it with us. And both of them have been so supportive and so helpful in the way that we wanted to bring awareness through the subject with the game. So we wanted to know more about their take on the subject. And that's why we wanted to bring them here and share those amazing people with you today. Was it okay? Because I'm not good at doing like introduction. Okay.
It was brilliant.
It was amazing.
Perfect.
Thank you. So those are the beautiful people we bring today. Thank
you for having us.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Do you want to introduce yourself in your own word, and what is your background? And...
Thanks, Nuri.
Sure. I guess I'll go first.
Go ahead.
Yeah, of course you will.
Okay.
Ladies first.
I am Maven, as just said. Hello, everyone. I am a cozy variety streamer. Play a lot of indie games. I started streaming because I wanted to take better ownership over my relationship with video games and mental health. So that's how I came to cozy games. My friends were like, when I said I wanted to start streaming, they were like, oh yeah, so you're going to play Call of Duty. And I was like, no, I'm going to play soft games, cozy games. And they were like, what?
Where is that?
So that was the goal. And I've been streaming for 3 years now. It's been an amazing experience. And I've been blessed to have been able to connect with amazing developers like you guys and enjoy some amazing games.
And throughout, I'm sorry, I'm just gonna step in. You actually built a whole media empire around your streaming thingies, right?
Empire?
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
We're using
I
the
don't
big
know
word
how
today.
else you could say it, but like you
Big word.
are literally everywhere all the time. If I'm missing a bit of Maven, I just need to either open Instagram or TikTok or Spotify, or it's yeah.
That's my plot for world domination. Take over the world, one cozy game at a time.
Yes.
One cozy game at a time. Yeah, that's good. All right. Well, I've got a lot of questions on how you managed to break the TikTok jail, but we'll get to that later on. Andy, would you mind introducing your very own self?
Absolutely. So my name's Andy, aka TheOldManThatGames. I used to be a 100% retro gaming streamer because I have a big fascination, as you can see, kind of a bit behind me. I've been collecting retro hardware and software for about 25 years ish. And one day I realized that I'd made a lot of friends to talk to in the independent gaming world. And also I realized that a lot of retro games are not very forgiving. And the last thing that I really wanted to do after a stressful day at work was come and sit in front of the computer and get even more stressed, even if it was to the delight of my community. So I decided to change my name on stream and start again and concentrate on independent games. And I also, although I'm almost 50, I do enjoy a good cozy game as well. So we've been doing a lot of different games for lots of different developers and for Folklore, of course. And I really enjoy the variety of games that indie has to offer. The amount of kind of ingenious and different games. And I think also the idea of the narrative is the kind of narrative led game is an amazing idea, because it's like as near as you can get to like an interactive film or a book that you can sit down and just kind of find out about. And I started to find some of these when I started doing the cozy games, and I love it because there's no need to get points or bonuses or kill shots or whatever it is. It's the absolute essential thing about a narrative game is the story has to be drawing enough to push you, to keep pushing you to get to the end of the game. And I think that's so clever. And I think things like Spiral, obviously, and some of the other stuff I've done, just keeps you want to keep going because you want to find out what's going to happen to your character or the characters around you. And it's the same kind of capture as a film has, why you stick through a film. And I love this, and I think it's such a great genre, and just it's so approachable for non-gamers as well, because you don't have to have the best dexterity or the best hand-to-eye coordination, but importantly, the narratives as well need to have the gaming element to keep your gamer satisfied as well, which they do in a very gentle but also kind of immersive way, as with Spiral, like some of the little games in there, some of the CNC game and one with the looking for the dog and all this kind of thing. They keep you at that interactivity level that keeps you interested and keeps you moving along with the story. And I think it's a great balance which Spiral has as well. So one of the other reasons why Folklore and myself have spent a lot of time talking and discussing things. Not only are they wonderful, beautiful people and really great friends from the other side of the world, but also it's because my own personal experience with Alzheimer's has driven me to investigate some of these issues with independent games. And so I think we'll have a chat in a bit about some of that.
We can
But yes, so I do.
We can segue there if you want. We don't mind. We have a bunch of questions, but if you want to introduce
Yeah,
kind
no,
of
no, it's fine.
what
I
your
want to make sure I don't want to.
Yeah, it's
I
perfectly
want
fine.
everyone's go. But I'll also we do play. So I do play a little bit of AAA occasion as well. So there's a few games
Yeah.
that have been remade from my past, which I try not to go for AAAs because I like the indie scene. But some of the more recent remakes, particularly also things like Baldur's Gate, obviously has been a huge kind of thing. It's been epic, and it's hard to resist some of those that have been remade recently. Which is
well, in your defense, Andy, Baldur's Gate would fit in a somewhat broad definition of an indie game, right?
Yes, I have heard that.
Yeah,
yes,
Witcher
yes.
2.
Yeah,
it's like thing. It's like it reminds me a bit of the one I always like, Dave the Diver, because that's not technically an indie game either, but it looks and feels like one in your head. Like this must be indie, but then you look it up, it's from some giant Korean or something mass game studio. And you're like,
well, I don't know that studio, but one of my own checkbox is: are they making games for the player, or are they pushing a product for their shareholders? That's the first one.
And as I've said, I've just fallen down the rabbit hole with Elite Dangerous because it's one of those. And as you know, I've got a thing about space as well. So yeah, Kerbal's indie though. I think that's still kind.
It was at the beginning.
It was, and then it got bought, but it's coming back again under a different label. So
is it? I thought it was that, but yeah.
No. It's they've gone pre-alpha, and it's going to be called Kissen Space Agency.
Oh yeah, it's not the same game. Yeah. I heard about it.
Yes, I'm very. Again, that's one of those. I enjoy the challenge. Again, it's a cozy game. I think it's fair to say it is a cozy game because there's. Again, it's a lot of creativity. It's a very sandboxy thing where you get to build your own rockets and your own space planes, and it does kind of sit amongst that kind of thing for me. So yeah, that's one of the others that I like to do quite a bit as well.
But then, since we're talking about something else than mental health right now, I would like to segue my way into Maven's life, who is and I'm sure I'm gonna screw it up, but EA creator partner ish. What's the actual name?
EA creator. There's a lot. We don't really have an official one.
Oh yeah, okay.
EA creator, EA partner, and then there's like the Sims creator program, so you could say Sims creator. They don't have one word for us. We just the creators.
What does it take and gives to be part of that? From what I understand, super like a small circle of very very good people.
I can't say for sure because we're such a diverse community. So I never expected to get in when I applied. Literally I was applying for a few things at the same time, and I was like, yeah, they're not. I just started playing The Sims on stream. They're never going to accept me. And then like I think a month later, I got the email, and I was like, wait a minute, what? Why? So, but I mean, it's all of the creators. We have a passion for The Sims, we have a passion for the stories that we tell in that game, and I think that's what they look for more than anything. It's just that extreme passion for the game, and I think anyone who has had any contact with the Sims community online or anywhere, we're a passionate bunch in general. So for better or for worse, we are passionate about that game, and I think they look for creators who are really outspoken and not afraid to speak on the great things about The Sims, but also sometimes not so great things.
I have a question. I'm gonna bring you all back to mental health because I have a question. Because I know that when we've reached out to you or you've discovered the game, whatever the first thing was, did you already have played in the past some game that were touching more mental health subject or things like that? Or if it's not the case, what was the impression? What there was, were you like uncertain of the way we were tackling the subject, or have you seen games in the past that were touching a different mental health subject, but in a more maybe, I would not say lazy, but maybe not tackling it the right way, and you were uncertain about what you were gonna go for when you we shared the game with you? Hi, Zina.
I played 2 really great games that tackled mental health. Now, whether you want to include this as an indie game is
Oh, it's
at
we
your
don't we
discretion.
don't need to go indie or not indie. It's really about the subject, so it's perfectly fine, whatever it is.
But before you guys approached me, I had just finished playing Tales of Kenzera Zao.
Oh.
And that game was backed by EA, but it was by a very new studio called Surgent Studios. And it dealt with loss and acceptance and grief. And I loved that game so much. I didn't think there was going to be another game that, for a long time, that would touch me in that way until you guys arrived. And so while I was reading the email, and I've told this story on my stream before, I was also going through a similar situation. My great aunt was dealing with or living with cognitive degeneration, and it was progressing. And you guys, that email came right at probably the most chaotic time in that experience for us. And it just felt like it was right. I didn't have any trepidation about picking up this game because it just felt like the timing for it was right. And so it turned out that it was without getting too deep into the story, because I'll start crying, but it turned out that it was exactly what I needed it at the exact right time. So I can't thank you guys enough for creating this game.
Would that be fair to say that being ready for those kind of experience depend on who you are and where you're at in that kind of grieving process? May it be because of someone else or your own mental health, when you're in the right kind of state of mind to go through those subjects. Because I don't remember when I was talking about that, but when I was sending my email, some people were answering me, I'm going through it and I cannot play your game. It's not something that I can do right now. And I was making sure when I was writing all of those emails, I was like, maybe it's not the right game, maybe it's not the right time, and you don't have to play it on screen. You can play it on your own time and just share it if you think it's valuable. But some people were like, it's not the right moment. And I was like, it's perfectly fine. So that fine line between being helpful and being too much is one that is really, really personal. And is it the thing that I'm not sure, is it a question of time or is it a question of how we handle those emotions? If it was coming at a different time, just earlier when it was all started, would it have been not the right moment? And I'm asking to both of you because both of you we're going through different situation and different experience, but through similar grief. I don't know if you want to tackle it a bit, Andy.
I suppose I better give some backgrounds to why and how we got involved and got talking. Because first of all, Spiral's a very exceptional game. I did enjoy it so much. Everything about it was absolutely beautiful, and not just because we're really good friends and we talk a lot now, but so my story starts when my father was just 60 years old. My dad was a successful businessman. He had done very well in life. He was director of a company. He was a chartered quantity surveyor, which means he goes around telling people on building sites how much stuff's going to cost, basically, and how much of something they'll need to build a house, etc. So he was a very intelligent, very on the ball type person, very good with finance, always someone I could depend on to ask. And when he was about, probably 61, 62, we noticed some very subtle changes in his behavior. We noticed him beginning to mispronounce words. First of all, it was quite an amusing thing, when we were out, he'd mispronounce a word. It was often a foreign word, so we were kind of like, okay, that's, that happens. And then he started to occasionally forget where his car had been parked, and that started to ring a few bells. And then some things were totally out of character for him. I remember his brother-in-law passed away. He was a very, very light man, and we went to his funeral. It was very moving. And my dad drank 2 bottles of red wine and then locked himself in his bedroom. My mum had to phone us, and we had to try and get him out. He wouldn't come out, and it was just not like him. It just started very small. I mean, initially it was almost, as I said, almost comical. It was just like, oh, it's just getting old, And then as it slowly progressed, he started to imagine things. So he started to see people in the bedroom that were, one time he got dressed into his work suit at 3 a.m. when he had retired, 5 or 6 years ago. And he was going out the door. My mum said, "Where are you going?" He said, "Oh, I've just been asked down the pub." And so, well, there's no one here. And it started to get quite bad. And then my mum started to suffer. My mum also she's a bit younger than him. So he's actually now, I think he's 76. My mum's 74. My mum has type 1 diabetes, and during lockdown, she suffered quite a monumental heart issue, and she was then had to have a double bypass and a new heart valve, and she had a stroke afterwards. So there was a lot of this, and then my father started to go downhill quite quickly. And she, as a lot of people do in her circumstance, tried to do everything herself. She would often hide events that had happened, and she'd just kind of mention them in passing. Oh yeah, we Dad crashed the car the other night into a concrete post because he got lost. And he'd be like, "Well, why didn't you tell us?" And then, of course, it came. The diagnosis came one day. He went to the clinic at hospital and was told you have Alzheimer's. His driving license was torn up and thrown away, which for my dad was a big car person. He built cars. He raced cars when he was younger. So it was really, that was the worst thing. He really, that really took a whole notch out of him. Then we had to get some carers in. The first lot of carers ripped us off and spent our money on things that shouldn't have been being spent on. So that was unfortunate. But we contacted the Alzheimer's Society. So the Alzheimer's Society UK were great. They were always there on the phone. They always had people that I could speak to and ask for advice, and they helped us get some better carers. But by this point, my dad had gone downhill quite quickly. And I think at the end of it, my mum, we had a long chat. I've got a brother as well. So we were all in negotiations all the time and discussions about what we should do, going through all the paperwork. Because suddenly my mum depended on my father for everything, for finance, for looking after the house, for paying bills. So everything we had to get sorted out, moved to his name. It was really difficult because he wasn't dead. So we couldn't just sign across. We had to explain to everyone that there's no way, he's not capable. We had to take him to the doctors, and we had all kinds of problems just trying to again, I don't know if it's just communication, but he'd just turn up. So one time when Mum was very upset, was they cross-question him about what we call a DNR, which is do not resuscitate. And my mum said, "Why are you asking him? He can't answer that because he's not sound of mind." And it's been a real bumpy, kind of harrowing journey to watch everything like that, and to watch. The hardest point is having my dad still here, but not being able to ask him for any advice or, just talk to him like a normal person. He's too far gone now. And then we had to make the awful choice of putting him into a nursing home. So one thing with Alzheimer's is that people really don't understand is the far-reaching consequences of it, because it hasn't just affected my father, it's affected his relationship with his wife, it's affected us as children, it's going to affect each generation, because my mum and dad, as said, were fairly good with money, and they'd put pots of money across to save for us, for helping us, because obviously the world isn't like it was then. It's a lot more expensive now. It's much harder to make your way. You know, back when my mum was younger, it was normal. She didn't work, my dad did all the work, you know, and you could afford that then. It's not happening now. But the care home fees, the fees for his nursing are just with very recently, I think you're aware, we had to sell our family house to start paying for his care. And we're in a good position at the moment, but the care home costs alone are taking around £100,000 a year out of us, which is absurd, because I mean, I don't know anyone that even earns that kind of money, but it doesn't seem fair. I mean, that's partly a thing with our government, our local government. I know there's a lot of differences between countries, but it just feels like we're just being rinsed out of everything. But what I do want to point out is that the care we get for him is absolutely superb, and he's in a very nice place. And it's the best care we could ever hope. And you know, my brother and myself spent a lot of time looking at care homes for him, because it's the hardest thing in the world to have to put your own dad in a care. Nobody wants to do that, you know.
Yeah, I can't really imagine how hard it could be, because like you're essentially telling him without him knowing, actually, because like he probably won't remember the next day, but that's where you live now. So that's what I chose for you.
Absolutely. And it was initially, it was a huge effort. He was very upset, of course, when he first went in there. There was a lot of crying. Initially, he thought my mum had died. That's why he was there. So, because he couldn't remember coming in. And it's very, very hard. Everything about this disease is hard. And and it's so funny, because a lot of people say, yeah, my gran had it, and this, and no disrespect to you, Maven, but it's so different when it's an immediate parent. It's so different. It hits so hard. Just knowing that life will never be the same again. And the other thing with Alzheimer's that's doubly hard are the lucid moments. They're the hardest, because we're actually going through a phase of it now, actually, where I'll go and visit, and actually for once he's on great form. He asks how my daughter's doing. He asks what her schoolwork's like. And this is the cruelest thing, because it's not going to last, but just for a little bit, you've got your dad back, just for a bit.
Yeah.
And he laughs and he jokes like he's normal for a bit, and that's almost like the worst thing. It's like that carrot dangling in front of you. It's like, it's going to be taken away soon. It's not going to last.
There was a moment, because my grandma that was living with us back when I was a tiny bambino suffered through Alzheimer's. And I remember my mom, I said that not too long ago. Was it this morning? Am I repeating myself?
Yeah.
No. Okay. Well, anyway. Yeah, my mom was going through hard times. I don't really know why, but like she wasn't sure on what steps to take after, not regarding her, but like the whole global life. And now you have to understand that my grandma, when she got hit with that, she lost the ability to speak. Like she wasn't communicating after.
No. Non-verbal.
So we did not hear her talk for the longest time, right? And at some point, my mom was sitting in the kitchen with her, and she was just like venting to my grandma, like explaining her, even though she would probably not understand. And would you believe it? She just like look up and she told my mom, hey, you know what? It's gonna be fine. And those were the last word that was that came out of her mouth.
It's such a strange disease with some of the things that it affects. I had when I used to live in Austria when I was younger, and my girlfriend at the time, her grandma had Alzheimer's as well, and they had a carer looking for her. One time we were all sat in the kitchen, just having a few drinks with her parents, and her grandma came in, and she didn't speak much either. She was very non-verbal as well. She was in her 90s, I think. And we were talking in English because my German wasn't good enough then. And suddenly she just started speaking English to us and saying, how are you? And have you been to the hotel today? And everybody was gobsmacked. They were like, oh, we didn't know she could speak English. And it was just, so strange the way that it unlocks these little pockets of memories that have been buried back there. But
you talked about like the difference between having someone immediate suffering from it. Maven, since it was your great aunt, how immediate was it for you? How close were you to the effect?
So my grandmother is my mother. I was raised by my grandmother. She's the only mom I know. And so this is her sister. This is an aunt that I spent a substantial amount of time with as a child. She opened my first bank account for me. We have a lot of memories together. And so one thing that I always say, and I don't know if this is normal for people who are living with these diseases, but she never really lost her long-term memory. So I could have lengthy conversations about things that happened when I was a kid. And even, in fact, I think in some moments she even still saw me as the little version of myself, just because of the way she would talk to me. But we could have lengthy conversations about things that happened years and years back. And she could tell me things about her childhood and about like things she remembered about my grandmother. So going to visit her towards the end, where she remembered me, it was more so just we couldn't really have conversations anymore up to a certain point. Everything was either in the past or moment to moment, so we can have conversations about what she just saw on the television. And then 5 minutes later, it's the same conversation. And 5 minutes later, that same conversation again. Oh, such and such came to visit me yesterday. Oh, really? Such and such hasn't been on this side of the veil for 10 years. Yeah. So those conversations just in the present moment conversations just got hard. And even for my grandmother, who was her primary caretaker towards the end, or for probably like the last 5 years leading up to it, it was even harder for her because this is the only sister that she had left out of, I think, 7 siblings. And every day it's not the sister that she knew. So they're fighting, which is something, siblings have spats, and they had their share of theirs growing up and as adults and everything like that. But it's different when this person is angry with you and actually trying to physically harm you, and they don't even know why. And you can't react because you know that they don't know why they're doing what they're doing. And so that was really hard for my grandmother, and I became her confidant during those last few months. And I wanted to play you guys' game because I wanted to have the language to help her through what she was going through. Because I think you're right. It is different when it's an immediate family. And I was seeing my grandmother and her sister And that was the more immediate connection that I was grieving for on my grandmother's behalf. So, yeah, that's one of the reasons I felt like it was important to play this game. Because I needed to have the tools, the language, and I didn't have it at the time. All I could do was listen and be a support. That's it. So
It's more than enough.
yeah, games. I
It's
love games
yeah.
that can help you through those kinds of moments.
It's
And
a really, really lonely disease for
it
everyone.
is.
For everyone, it is for the person living through it because they're forgetting
the
people.
way,
But it is for everyone around too, because you can support and listen, but you cannot share that grief because you know you're talking with our sister. And the same that Andy, you can less share with your mom because you know that her spouse is going through it. So it's really lonely for every part because she probably have a hard time sharing too because you're her son. So she doesn't want to put that burden on you. So everyone is kind of
absolutely.
isolated in those situations.
She doesn't want to tell us, and she will have days where she's seen him and something will have happened. She will have gone and he will have told her to go away in not those nice terms, and got angry with her. And then she'll tend to go home and just say that I don't want to speak to anyone for today. If that's okay, I just want to process this. So it's very difficult. And yeah, he punched me in the face once. It was totally. I was just in shock, you know. One of the orderlies had to come and help me. He just lost and just started punching me, just was like it just came from nowhere. And he gets very. One thing I've noticed with him is that he's very, very sound sensitive. So if there's a lot of noise in a room, that will really, really upset him. And when my daughter was younger, he would find it difficult when she would scream and shout, because kids do. But also when I'm at the nursing home, if there's a lot of commotion in the room, he will get unsettled, and then he will start to get angry, and then he'll say, I'll be he'll start getting up, sitting down, sitting down. So, come on, Dad, do you want to sit down? Oh, get away from me. Stop shadowing me. Go away. And then he'll go, and then we'll just take him back through, because we know he's had too much. And he just can't deal with that kind of level of noise. But as you say, it's the hardest
overload kind of,
it's just too much. You can't shut it off. And it as I said, like you say, like this, the way that the disease, there's that fateful moment when I ask him, and I've done it. I try, although I've been through all the grief and I've been through the crying, and the game helped me a lot with that, as you saw. But I want to try and understand what's going on as much as I can. And I do kind of cross-question him sometimes. What do you remember? Do you remember this? I'm interested. I want to know. And and I'll say, the fateful day, I said to him, do you know who I am? And he goes, nope, no idea. He goes, I know you're important, but I don't know why. That's what he said. And he forgets my mum. When he forgets my mum, he does occasionally, and then that also becomes an issue. And then very early on, he actually imprinted on another old lady who looked nothing like my mum, but he was convinced it was my mum. So they'd walk around hand in hand, and that was just, for my mother was just absolutely, she just, what the hell do I do? It was just what he was convinced it was my mum, and they were kind of off together. They were sitting there hugging on the sofa at the, you just can't. He's happy. Because he's convinced I keep telling my mum, he does think it's you. He doesn't, he's
not cheating.
He's not cheating on you.
He's with you right now. Yeah.
So there's all these really weird things that we never thought. Things that you have to think of that obviously he used to do was like hygiene and stuff. And one thing you've got to learn. Oh, it's so difficult. My mum just can't go. My dad was always smart. My dad always wore a shirt. He always wore trousers. His hair was always immaculate. But when they go into the home, they can't. You can't get that kind of unless you want to pay for 20, like 1-to-1 care, which is probably like double what we're paying anyway.
Yeah.
They just they shave them when they can. They do their hair when they can. But I think there's about probably 20 of them in the house, and probably about half the number of staff. So he's not always clean shaven. He's not always got his hair done. Sometimes he's messy. He's incontinent as well. So obviously there's a lot going on there. My mum that was one of the hardest things. She just really couldn't deal with that initially. But the other thing that's nice is the care home where he's at has got a little coffee area in his entrance, and all of the visitors sit together, often with their respective other halves. But there's a really nice little community there, and they kind of took my mum in and said, look, you've just got to let it go. There will be days where it's like this. They do the best they can do, but they're not going to force him if he, because he does lash out, and he will hit the staff, he will shout at the staff, and it's very difficult. So they just do what they can do. So he's not going to look like he did. He's not going to have, his hygiene isn't brilliant as because he can't do it himself anymore. So it's very hard, very difficult. Today I had to ask them if they would change him. It was it's very hard. He's my dad.
Yeah.
Yeah. He can barely walk now. He shuffles along, and it's soul destroying. It's absolutely soul destroying. And I'm terrified as well because I forget things mid-sentence. I've been doing that a lot recently, and oh God, I'm going to be 50 in a year. So I've got 10 years left if I get it. And I said to my mum, should I find out? And she said, no, don't find out, for God's sake. And I'm so like my dad in my attitude and my approach to things. Unfortunately, I'm not as clever or as successful as he is. But I do worry because my brother's very much my mum incarnate and I'm my dad. So it's a real worry. But so the thing about Spiral is, and I must get to it because I haven't talked enough about it, is that it is a very incredible game, and I think it's very brave to tackle this as a topic, but I think you guys have done it in the absolute best way possible. And I wish everyone could play it. I want everyone to play it. I wish people could see, because it's the easiest way. Sorry, not the easiest, that's the wrong word. The way that it's done is just so pleasant, and it's so highlights all those issues, and the way you build up the backstory of the cat, because you need to know this guy first, and that's the thing. You need to know Bernard, as you call him, or Bernard as we would say, you've got to build that character up. You've got to make the player fall in love with this guy. You need to know him, you need to respect him, because that's pivotal, because when he starts to go downhill, you need to feel that. And it's done so. I mean, I was in absolute bits. We had to stop for a bit so I could just
I was crying the whole way with you. Every time I see that clip, I cry.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I was just so... and I think there's... And it's hard to put like a reason why. It's like it comforts you and says, this is what happens, this is how it happened, this is the things that you're going through aren't just you. It's not like an educational thing. It's like an emotionally educational thing. It's like you're following this, and it pulls you in, and you find out so much about him, and it was just so well done. Like I say, all the little bits in there just all come together in such this kind of symphony of color and progression and understanding, and it just it's absolutely fantastic. I say I would just really love just to see more games approach. As I said, someone's just mentioned Firewatch, and that's another big one. I played that as well. That's a big one where his partners, and they're quite young, I think. His partner has dementia and she has to go off. You've got Spirit Pharaoh as well, which also deals a bit with that as well. I think it's great to see games like taking ownership of explaining some of these things, going through this stuff as well. And the thing is that if they get it right, and if it really hits that emotional chord with you, and you have that understanding, then the game just really, really engrosses you. And it reminds me of another game that I played. I think it was called Under the Waves and that, I mean, as a parent, that game absolutely took my soul out of me and stamped on it. And I was, because that deals with child loss, and oh my, it was just, again, I was absolutely in bits. I didn't really, there's like that bit where you're so emotionally drained that you're like, I don't know if I can go on. But it's the same with Spiral. It was like that as it built up. You felt at the end you could just feel your emotions just coming out. But I think everyone needs to do that, and you do. And it's important to cry. It's really important. I cry a lot. I especially if something can trigger me so easily now. And I think you feel that. I think one thing with outsiders, you just feel so unfair. Like, life's so unfair. Why did it happen to us? You know. And my mum says the hardest thing for her is to go to other gatherings of people her age and hear about, oh, they've been on this cruise, they're going around the world, they're doing this, and they had all that planned out. They had the money all saved, and they were going to, have the bestest life ever. But no, they're not. But they're not. Then they're not going. And my mum will not go anywhere now because my dad's in her home. She won't go.
Yeah.
She will not live her life. We keep telling her, live your life before it's too late. Because at the moment, he's physically in the bestest shape ever. He gets they feed him well. He looks after himself in that respect. He's medicated. There's doctors, there's nurses. He's in the best place ever. And I said to Mum, there's going to be a point. There's a point. We're all waiting for it. We all know it's there. He's going to fall off that cliff. We know it's going to happen, and it will happen quickly. And I said to Mum, please, while you can, live your life, because there's going to be a point where you won't be able to leave him because it will be near the end. And I've just said, please. And I can't. What can you do? She's stubborn.
Oh, yeah. No, of course.
That's how she is.
It must be hard for her to do that. But and before Jess says anything, because like she's watching the time like an
We're
ox
good.
right
We're good.
now.
After that, it's just both
We're
of
good?
us, so
Cool.
I don't
Awesome.
care. It's
I
just
want to
both of us.
know because Andy, you've talked a lot about what Spiral gave you as a perspective maven. How did you receive all of that information for you when you played Spiral?
What do you mean? As if, I mean,
Yeah,
as in, how did you how did you process it, right? Because like he was talking about how the narrative handled that situation, and I kept remembering the fact that I did not understand how the narrative worked until I saw someone else play it. Like the tree that goes that starts to like get burned, and the boat after, and I was like, from my perspective, the game, that's a big like snap. Doesn't make sense, but then like I saw the effect that it had on people and the shock, and so. Did you take anything away from Spiral when you like saw the credit roll in?
Or any kind of game that brings you.
I was bawling by the time the credits came in.
Sorry.
The scene on the boat, and where the trees just kind of dissolve and everything, that the first time I saw it, I kind of understood what was happening. But the second time when I was making my review video for it, it really hit me. And so that was that's just one scene that has stuck with me throughout this whole experience. But by the time I got to the end, I was just all over the place. And I think it was because, and you guys know this, that same week that I finished your game, my great aunt passed on. So it was very fresh. And I didn't get a chance to say goodbye to her in a official way, I guess, before she passed. So that ending for me was a way for me to say goodbye. And even doing the review video was super cathartic because it made me go back through the game, look at little things that I missed, little moments where, and I love where like the moments are in the air and you kind of have to grab them, like, because it really it really brings home like what that experience is like, where the memory can be right there and they're right at the edge of it, but they just can't grasp it. And the storytelling, I know we keep saying this over and over, but you guys did such a great job with how you told the story and how you showed the player what it's like. Because that's one thing that we can never do. We can never step into the shoes of that person. But this game is the closest thing we have to that. And that's why I think it's so important.
I think that when we went for the game, because there's different kind of game. We have like Hellblade that tackle mental health in a really different way, where they want to make you feel the way it is. And we wanted more to try, as best as we could, to showcase that you cannot do anything. You can be there. You can listen. You can be there and listen, but you can factually do nothing to stop that. So whatever you're going to do is enough. So being there is enough. Listening is enough. Trying to tell the story when they cannot tell it is enough. So when people kind of agree or feel that it worked or that they felt like better because of it, it's like all we need. It's a victory. Because you are enough and what you did is enough, even if you are not there for the end.
Mhm.
I'm
Yeah, of
sorry,
course.
it's you. You need to take care of the rest of that conversation. I'm gonna cry in that corner, okay?
All right. So,
We're all crying now.
well, I don't know how I could end that little segment. Otherwise than saying
I can bring a last question in and then we can move on, because I feel like I
Cool.
want more of you. If you have 5 minutes more from, I know we said
I'm
1
good.
hour.
I'm good. I've got no plans.
I'm here. I have no
Cool.
plans either.
Because I had a couple of questions. I did not win because we were like emotional and it was like really great and I didn't want it to stop anything and it was better than what I wanted to bring. But okay. In that category of like game bringing more, I don't know if support or kind of a window into those situation and into those mental health or sickness or just into the human being that we are. Do you think, as we were talking, the fact that there was that many of them, do you think more studios should try to bring that forward, or do you think that if there is more, we might get in a more, I don't know how to say that, more in a less
tear-jerking industries?
Yeah, or just something that is going too much, and if we open that box, we might go too far and then do the opposite of what we're trying to do, which is be helpful and supportive. Should it still be a niche and something small that people need to try to discover, or should it be something that more dev try to work on and to bring to people?
I'm team indie. I think that certain subject matters are better approached with a smaller team. Teams that are equally as passionate about the subject of the game, making games in general. I think that and I think Nuri said this earlier today because I was listening in to you guys' segment with them. But I think that what they said was true. Like, I'm all for the decentralization of video games. bigger studios have other priorities. They're thinking about the profit at the end of the day. They're not thinking about the impact. And I know that's not true across the board, obviously, but I believe that indie devs have a very special place in gaming as a whole, because you guys are uniquely able to tell stories and you get to tell them in the way that you want to without all of the oversight that comes with big corporations.
That is wonderfully said. I could not have said it better.
No.
Yeah, there is. I don't think there is a way for I don't know Bethesda to do a game like Spiral and like get out of it without having to like I don't know buy your memory through microtransaction or something. You know, it's not something that could happen. I think. I mean,
Yes.
Hellblade does it though. Is Hellblade a indie game or?
I think, but I'm not sure. I
Oh,
don't
yeah?
remember. I'm sorry, Hellblade. Love you. I cannot play your game because you're talking in my brain and it's making me anxious. But I love your game. I cannot. It look amazing. I cannot. It's making me have anxiety to hear voice in my head that are not mine. I cannot. I cannot.
I think it's important to bring these narratives across to the public and to the gamers. Like I say, the narrative's so much more accessible to people. I mean, it's something even when the time's right, I might even ask Mum if she, she'd sit down and have a go at it as well. She's definitely not a gamer, but she might get something out of it as well. And it's also a kind of way. I suppose it's a kind of insight into the disease through people that have lived around it. So, particularly, even if it's someone that's going into care work for that kind of area, might give them some insight. I know it's not going to give them a medical insight, but it kind of it's very good because the one thing about the game is it's very subtle until it gets to the very end. But it does it so, and it's like the little things that you notice that I didn't notice immediately, and the things like the way the house changes throughout the game, and things suddenly rooms are in different places, and it's just so subtle, and it takes you a little while. It's one of those things you kind of think back on and go, oh yes, and I think that makes it tries to explain, because that's so my one thing I can like marry that up with what my dad one time when I went, thought he was in his dad's workshop. He thought he was in his father's workshop, and he was walking around the room pointing things out to me. He said, "Here's the lathe. That's where we make this. These are his cupboards. Oh, look down there. There's one of his." And it's like that. It's his mind's distorted. What's
he was actually
him.
Seeing what he was describing to you.
Yeah, and he does. And the other thing that because his profession. He was a quantity surveyor, so he used to go around looking at buildings and noting things and stuff like. So in the care home, he still, because that floor, like this, he'll point to the floor, and it's perfectly level, but he will say, "Oh, look at the slope. Careful the slope there, and that's not right. We need to maneuver. We need to move that bit out the way. We've got to demolish that bit. We need some nails there," and he'll still be on that kind of work cycle. It's very fascinating how that happens, but it's and some of these things you can observe like that in the way you observe Bernard in the game. There is a way, how do you say, it's not positive, but it's uplifting in a way to see them when they're happy despite everything. As long as they're happy, that's what, and they're often not without, because they're often frustrated, and they know. I mean, today when I'm trying to how to put this very politely, when he was having some issues with the bathroom, he turned around to me today and said, "Why me? Why does this happen to me?" And well, Dad, it's not you. It's your disease. It's what's happening to you. And it's just these things are. That's not particularly uplifting, but then other times he will, particularly if I bring my daughter along, he will instantly, my daughter's 12, and she will give him a big hug, and he'll turn into a different person in a second, He'll laugh at her. He'll run round with her, and he's just he's very different. And sometimes with my mum as well, when he's got those days when he's able to think, and he will, sometimes he won't recognise her at all. And my mum will be upset. He'll be frustrated, but other times he'll wave, "Oh, look, I'm over here," and he'll pull her in. He'll give her a kiss, and it's lovely. It's like everything's still the same, but it's not.
Normal, yeah.
But it won't be. But it's again like when you say, should people do this? Yes, people should do narratives like this, and people should bring. I don't know how else you're going to convey what was conveyed in Spiral without doing a narrative. And to say that it's a new, for me, it's a new genre of game, and it's a thing that lends it, because it's something that people can watch as students or as people who are interested as well. Like you say, you're never going to be able to actually live in their shoes, but this, just following this, gives especially for people that have never ever had any experience at all of dementia or Alzheimer's or things like that. It is an eye opener in that respect, because it's portraying it, but again, it's doing it in such a lovely way. Again, you guys are absolutely faultless in your delivery of what you did. It's absolutely incredible. It is. I wish everyone would play it. Like I say, everyone should play it. It's
well, there is
required
more
gaming.
and more playing. Required. Yeah, it's like required reading,
gaming.
but for game. Yeah,
but it should be, and it should, because you can read a book, you can watch a film, but this is both of those together, and you can view it in your own way. It's your perception, not just the way the game's perceiving it, because you're able to interact and able to you live his memories, and that's so important, like you say, to build this up, because my dad tries to tell me his memories, and that's the best he can do, but this does it in a almost tactile way. That's really important, because you need to connect. If you can't connect with that character, the game would not work at all.
No, yeah, of course.
And that's what's delivered so perfectly. And yes, I think we need to look at things like this. I think certain things will be difficult, and like I say, it's very easy. It would be very easy to make, with a subject like this, a very depressing game that would be miserable all the way. It's so easy. Oh, Alzheimer's, it's the end. There's nothing else. It's a miserable game. It's about the death of this guy who loses his marbles, but it's done in a way that you look at the positives, you look at the amazing life he had, the things he did, and so he's changing. He's not dead yet. It's just the way that it's delivered. It's very important like that, and it would be. I don't know what other things you could do like that, but to try and give them a slightly, you're not falsely making it a positive experience. You're just looking at things that make you want to find out and intrigue you, but are also uplifting in that way. And it's nice to live through all this. It's just, what can I say? It's just so well thought out. It's just done all the right things, and it's done it in its own unique way. If you look at Spiritfarer, for example, it does it in a different way. You're looking at snapshots of memories. You're not living them, but you're just seeing some, because obviously it's dealing with a lot of different characters rather than just one. So it can't go as in deep as that. But it's just that, trying to pass that information along, but make it so it stays with you, and so it's incredible.
It could be seen as it's like one day in the life of Bernard, because there's no time definition, and he gets out of the train in the beginning, and he gets on the train. Don't want to. Can I spoil? It's been a year. And he gets on the
It's too
the
late
train,
to ask.
at the end. So it's like, if you restart the game, it's still the
like a loop.
The cycle repeats. So I mean, all of those things, and I work with them, and all of those things were completely out of my mind until I saw you guys play it, and I'm like, oh my god, the ending is brilliant, and I didn't even see it. So yeah.
Thank you
And
so
like
much.
Vivi said, petting Elfie at the end, which you should all thank Jess, because that wasn't in the game before she said, I'm going to take the marketing
You've got to
money.
have something to pet. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
There is nothing that breaks me more than to go see Elfie and pet her. It's important. But thank you so much for spending time with us and for sharing your experience
problem.
and sharing of
course.
your own life too. We're really grateful that you've done that with us. It's really, really great. And
Been a
it's I don't know for everyone, but that's why I was doing that. That's why I've worked on Spiral for so long. I wanted to know other people's story. That it's that old discussion, that the collective, the way we feel so lonely, but we all feel lonely together in a way, I think is really important. So yeah.
Yes.
And we have Vivi in the chat that wants to thank you also for
Yes,
your
I saw
input.
Vivi. Thank you, Vivi.
Vivi, who worked on
And
the game. I
Yes.
don't remember exactly which
Ruben
part
design.
of it.
In
Oh,
design.
yeah.
But thank you so much. We're gonna let you go and let be free. And that what's gonna happen is we're gonna put the schedule of the day and the giveaway, because we're gonna answer a giveaway segment while
Yes.
I'm gonna go dry my face. And we'll be back in a few. So
Thank you, Nuri, as well.
Thank you for having us.
I mean, it's all because of
Thank
Nuri that I
you.
got involved, and
Yes.
she's
Yeah.
such a lovely lady. We always have such a giggle on her streams. So hello, all the way over there on the other side of the world from me. So
All the love.
All started with a raid.
it did.
Be right back.